Hey, happy Friday. It's Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group. We're taking a look, as we do every Friday, at the Metro Denver market report. This is a weekly view with some very deep stats and breakdowns of what's happening in the housing market here in the Denver metro area. This is a 7-county area. As I always say, this is a macro level look. If you're looking for something more micro level, at a level of your town, your suburb, your neighborhood, your street, heck, even your house, we can put this together for you too. Just all you have to do is reach out. So we have some interesting developments, and we're going to get into the numbers here in a second. Just this week, I reported a 14% drop in purchase contracts from September compared to August of this year, and also in some markets even deeper, like Highlands Ranch, for example, a 39% drop in new purchase contracts. And we can pretty much point the fingers at these prolonged, stubbornly high mortgage rates. Today's non-farm pay, or what is it called? The non-farm payroll jobs report certainly didn't help things either. Way more jobs created than what was expected, which pushed yields on bonds way down, which pushed mortgage rates up even more, approaching 8% territory. So we're now sitting at a couple straight months of mortgage rates north of 7%, which is just crushing demand. And we'll get into what that looks like from a weekly numbers perspective. So as we get deeper into the year, obviously I got to do a lot more scrolling to get up and down to the column headings here. Let me show you the year in its entirety. And basically, we're seeing on the far right side of the screen here. Let me zoom out a little bit. The reds are more competitive markets, so good to be a seller in those red cells there. And the blues are less competitive markets, so good to be a buyer. And you can see, here in September going into October, we got lots of blues, lots of less competitive market numbers. All right, so let's dive in individually. We're going to start with the first column here, odds of selling. Simple measure between supply and demand. And you can see we started the year sub 50%, got as high as 65% plus, 66, almost 67%. And now we've been back sub 50% now for, it looks like, 5 consecutive weeks. This past week ending October 3rd, clocking in at 46.4% odds of selling. So that means more supply, less demand for homes. Again, better if you are a buyer. Obviously, the interest rates are not pleasurable yet. You're not competing with 50 other buyers for one home. Usually. There are exceptions. Average daily active tells us how many listings are on the market any given day during each week. Starting the year off in the 4,500 range, working our way down, all the way down to about 3,600, 3,700, and now all the way back up to a 2023 high of almost 6,900 homes available for sale on any given day. New listings, let's see. We had a peak of new listings, looks like around 1,300 in the first couple weeks of June. And we've pretty much been averaging, we'll call it about 1,000-ish new listings a week ever since about mid-July, save for that really low week of Labor Day week. And then right after that, you had all the homes that would have been listed had it not been a holiday weekend pop out, pushing that up over 1,200. Back around 1,971 to be exact, new listings hit the market last week. All right, let me move me out of the way. Back on market, these are just homes that fell out of contract. Really not much of a story there. The numbers are pretty much in the 200s pretty much every single week. Expired and withdrawn means expired, let's say it listed for 90 days, 180 days. That period ended and the home came off the market unsold. Withdrawn means that the seller chose to just take the home off the market. Let's see. Well, much higher numbers as we typically do the first of the month or the end of the month. 394 expired listings last week. I believe, that should be the high for the year. And we'd have to go back to the end of 2022 where 811 came off the market to see that many. 197 chose to withdraw from the market. So those numbers are higher than what we've seen all year. Let's see, we'd have to go back to around Thanksgiving last year or into December to see numbers that high on withdrawn. So a lot of sellers choosing to get out of the market as well as they see that they're facing more competition and less demand for their home. Okay, under contract. This is one of the most telltale statistics. Obviously, this is how many homes did go under contract each week. Start of the year, I'm not going to count the first week of the year when we're still coming in, or we're still in holiday mode. Starting the year about in the 800s, moving our way into the 1,000, 1,100, almost 1,200 range we're going to call it the peak months of this year, 2023. I don't think we're going to look ahead between now and the end of the year and see anything, hotter if you're a seller. 1,100, 1,000 into June, July, and then we've been steadily trending downwards, less and less contracts, 900, 800, 600 Labor Day week, and 800, 800, 800, still at 800. So 812 homes did go under contract last week. So when we go back to this, what's it called? The odds of selling, it's essentially just division between the homes that went under contract and the homes that are available. Again, just talking supply and demand. Closed homes. This is a lagging measure, so I don't spend too much time on closed homes. Obviously, when we see contracts peak and trough, closed homes will follow that usually about 3 to 6 weeks later. Closings last week, 897. That does coincide with the end of the month. Typically, end of month, you'll see more homes closed than in previous weeks. Yeah, that's a pretty significant jump in closings. We'd have to go all the way back to the end of July to see that many homes close in any given week. Maybe something to watch. Yet we'd see it first in the amount of homes that go under contract. Okay, predictive MSI. This stands for month supply of inventory. The adage is if it's 0 to 4, then it's a seller's market. If it's 5 or 6, it's a balanced market. If it's above 6, 7 plus, it is a buyer's market. We haven't seen 6 plus, 7 plus since the Great Recession. So I think we can start to move that scale maybe a little bit downwards. Yet you can see we started the year around a month and a half supply, moved under a month for a great period of time. About 2.5, 3, we'll call it 3.5 months. Crested at a month in May, have been on the rise ever since, and currently sitting at 2 months supply of inventory. So while it's still seller's market territory, it's higher than it's been, save for, again, Labor Day week is kind of a statistical anomaly with that holiday in there. Yet it is the highest it's been besides that week since Christmas, basically last year. Okay. Scroll right past it. I'm going to skip over average units needed for balance. Basically, that's how many homes would have to hit the market today to balance the market out to where neither buyer nor seller had any advantage. So just to show you, we'd still need 21,000 plus homes. So we're currently sitting at about 32% of balance of demand, we'll call it. And days until equilibrium. If everything held, it would take almost 3 months for that amount of homes to hit the market. Okay, total showings. This is the leading measure amongst leading measures. How many buyers are out there physically touring homes any given week? That tends to lead to contracts week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so later. Starting the year in the 11,000, 12,000 range, moving into March and April, over 17,000 one week, and then it started kind of dwindling from there, 15,000. That was a holiday week, then jumped back to 13, 12. Been in that 12,000 range, or spent a lot of time in that 12,000 range in July and August into September. Then you have Labor Day, where 2,000 buyers decided to take the weekend off. Jump back up close to 12,000, high 11s, and then mid 11s last week, and then only 10,745 showings this past week. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Obviously, there were no holidays to carve buyers out of the market. So, we're seeing less buyers physically in the market looking at homes. Of course, again, we're talking 2 or 3 consecutive months of interest rates over 7. It chips away at that demand. All right. Next one, showings to contract. For the listings that did go under contract, on average, how many showings they had. 13.2 this week. No real story there. It's pretty congruent with the previous couple of months. Median days on market. Okay, first week we're not going to count. Even into the second week, third week of the year, we started seeing the homes that did go under contract took a median of 21 days, 20 days. Then it started dropping until we got all the way to 5 median days on market, which is kind of going back to the pandemic craziness where every single home was under contract in 4 days. Then started climbing back up, 5, 6, 7s, climbing into the 10 double digits again. So 21 days this week, that is the high since January. So what's that tell us? That tells us that properties aren't flying off the shelf. As such, and I'll talk about this here in a second, only 1.8% of the homes that went under contract this week did go for more than asking. The price went up. 45% of the homes that went under contract did so after dropping their price, and 53% of the homes that went under contract did so with no movement either way on the price. The average price reduction last week was $42,000, representing a 5.7% drop. Pretty consistent there. Not much to talk about on that end. So let me zoom back out here. So we can see, again, the colors are, reds are hotter for sellers, blues are better for buyers. Obviously, we're trending to blue territory in a lot of measures over the last couple of months here. And let's see how that compares to last year. Pretty much the same thing. I mean, last year, March, April is when the interest rates started rising and people started getting sticker shock at 5% and especially in the 6% range. Now we're sitting at close to 8. So obviously a big change in environment, yet same color pattern where the first quarter into the second quarter was hottest for sellers last year. And then it started getting really, really blue, save for new listings hitting the market, which dramatically dropped after the holidays, after Thanksgiving last year. So shaping up to be much of the same, just a different environment. Prices haven't really taken a toll yet. However, with this decreased demand and these, I just look at showings here. I don't know why I can't zoom. There we go. The showings dropping off over the last few weeks. That's going to really start decreasing demand, causing more prices to have to drop, causing the overall values to potentially take a hit. Then I look back and remind everybody that last year at this time, we were in the 10,000 to 11,000 showings per week range too. So not jumping to any conclusions. It takes, more than 1 or 2 consecutive weeks to see a trend, and we'll keep watching, keep reporting back to you. Thank you so much for watching this. And we trust you that you find this valuable if you would spend this amount of time here watching this. And we put this together, really if one person can see this and help themselves discover when the best time for them to enter the market, either as a seller or a buyer or doing both at the same time, then, I'm happy. Happy if this can help one person. So again, my name is Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group. We do this every Friday. Since we just put out a lot of content today, this may not hit your inbox until next week. However, reach out if you have any questions, and we will see you next Friday.